I don't know what happened there, John. Something happened with
Yeah, it's all right.
our software
It's all right. It
there,
looks like
but
we got back on. It looks like we're on now. I don't know if we're gonna get all the same people back or what's going on, but um, that
yeah,
was
something
a strange
happened. It
thing.
stopped, but anyway, we're back. What do you make of the comments of Jerome Powell there?
Well, I think that the important thing is to realize that if these people have no accountability to the government, then they shouldn't be supported by the government. And this is by design, right? They're completely separated. But they have to have accountability to the people of the United States to have any control over our national economy. And the way that they have that is by the House. The House oversees them. So here's my answer. If the president or if the government can't control what they're doing, which is in some cases good, but obviously it's not been good as of late. So what they should do is end the Fed. How about we end the Fed, and then there's no more question. Allow the American people to be in control of the economy. We don't need the Fed. We survived without the Fed, and I think that that's what we should do. To me, that's what would be an appropriate um, response to this issue, where we could have a person who intentionally drives the economy into the ground to hurt Trump, which would be, to me, in my mind, that would be a crime. And so you have to have a different mechanism. It can't just be, oh, well, we're a private entity, we don't answer to anybody, and we're just trusted for some reason. No, it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If
Yeah,
they drive the economy into the ground to hurt Trump politically, they need to go to jail for it.
yeah, yeah. I agree. All right, John. So, illegal aliens in New York City are protesting Trump. They're saying they are not leaving the United States. Watch this, John.
Aquí estamos. Y no nos vamos. Aquí estamos. Y no nos vamos. Y si nos echan.
This is mind-boggling. Okay, listen, you do not have a right to travel across the world on your own without obeying the laws of a country that you're going into. It would never be accepted anywhere else. You can't go to Canada and actually be a man with testosterone, right? Like when you go to Canada, you have to be on the transgender surgery waiting list. Well, we don't want break their laws. When you go to Mexico, apparently you have to, bend the knee to cartels. We don't do that here in the United States.
No.
So I don't understand how it is that these people think that they have a right to be. You do not. I don't care where you're from. You could be from Nicaragua, or like my family was, or you can be from Russia, or you can be from Korea, or you can be from Japan, or the Philippines, or France, or Britain, or Sweden. I don't give a damn. You do not have a right to come to this country. We allow you to come. And if you come illegally, then we need to get you out. You need to be out. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the sense of entitlement. We're giving them money. We have homeless people in the United States. If we can't resolve the homeless problem, why would we be trying to bring people in to make more homeless people, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we,
Doesn't
we
make
need
any
to
sense.
resolve. No, not at all, right? And so all these liberals are saying, oh, well, we need to fix this homeless problem, but we're going to come here and we're going to take all the job opportunities and give them to. No, they're just trying to win elections. They don't give a damn about these people. So we have to get this under control. And I'm a big, strong believer right now in a immigration moratorium. I know that we have to increase our population levels, and I'm okay with immigration. I'm not okay with illegal immigration at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the fear, John, is that these mass deportations are going to be stopped by these blue liberal cities. That they're not going to allow this to happen.
No,
But
it won't. It won't. How did Trump get Mexico to cooperate on the southern border when he was president? The remittances, right? He attacked those remittances. He said that he was going to tax those remittances, which is the money that these people send home, right? So if you go to Western Union, you can make a transfer, you pay a fee, and you transfer money to Mexico, and that's like $4 billion or something like that, I think.
yeah,
So he would have said, you know what, we're going to tax. It's going to be a 50% tax on all remittances across to Mexico. Problems. All of a sudden, we have Mexican troops on the border, right?
yeah,
So it's the same thing. You do that to the state. You're going to be a state that prevents the federal government from doing its job. ICE from doing its job, from Border Patrol from doing its job, no problem. No more federal money going to that state. And let's see how long they last. I mean, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. These states like California that run themselves into gigantic budget deficits, states like New York that need the federal dollars, right? I mean, forget it. You're not. There's no way. There's no way.
Well, John, I don't think that they're going to have any problems out of New York. Listen to Eric Adams.
I don't think so either.
To communicate with President-elect Trump and have communicated with him, will you express concern about mass deportations in the city?
My concern is one concern, that we keep tinkering around the edges. We keep having this philosophical conversation about it. The voters communicated loudly and clearly. We have a broken immigration system. It needs to be fixed. That's the only conversation I want. It's broken. It needs to be fixed. And New York City was devastated by that broken system. 220,000 migrants and asylum seekers have made their way here. No financial assistance from the administration. I think it was about $200 and something million with billions of dollars we had to pay for. I don't want to see that happen again. I don't want what's taking place in Chicago and Denver, Los Angeles, Houston. I don't want to see it take place again. Let's fix our immigration system. Anything other than that, I'm not interested in that conversation. We have a broken system. I talked about this in 2022, just as I talked about violence in 2021, and voters made this the top of their list. The top of their list. When I was talking about it, everyone was being dismissive of me, and voters said, this is a problem. And if we don't have a conversation about fixing the system, everything else is just being philosophical and theoretical, and I'm just not going to engage in that. Let's fix the system.
I can't disagree with that, John.
Man, I'll tell you what. This he may have saved his career because the Democrats were coming after him for the stance that he took on immigration in New York, right? But he was also playing along with them. He was providing them. He was just screaming that New York is going broke doing this. So he understood. He caught on, and he knew that this was destroying the city. He was also destroying his budget. So I think he may have saved himself, especially with some of these corruption charges, and they may be pulling back on that because they want to. I mean, why? You don't want the scandal. You want them to fulfill the job. But this is what happens. You can't be a Democrat and be halfway Democrat. What happens? Look what happens to RFK. You get thrown out of the party. Look what happens to Tulsi Gabbard. You get thrown out of the party. Look at all the Democrats who have left the Democrat Party and become Republicans. That's happened because you have to be 100% on board. You have to toe the party line. And if you divert just slightly from the party platform, then you're done. You're out. And this guy, they even tried to charge him with a crime because that's a lot of influence that you have as the mayor of New York to say immigration is out of control and we need to resolve the problem. And they're trying to use that problem to survive politically.
And finally, John, students over at Michigan State University are angry and frustrated over President Trump's win. They claim lives are on the line and people will
lives
suffer.
Are on the line, boy.
They will suffer from his presidency, and his campaign is fascistic, violent, and racist. Here they are.
Many students at Michigan State University are outraged and protesting against Donald Trump's new presidency. And it is our top story today at 5. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones. Angry and frustrated are just two of the many emotions some MSU students feel about Tuesday's election results. Taryn Simmons was on campus for their rally today, and she's here for you now with what they had to say. Taryn?
Sherry, dozens of Spartans walked out of class this afternoon. They say lives are on the line under Trump's presidency. They also say his campaign is fascistic and spews violent rhetoric. Event organizers say they felt disturbed when they heard that Trump won. They said the importance of the rally is to highlight community and a push against fascism. They believe Trump's stance on immigration will make many people suffer. They also said when Trump was president back in 2016, they faced a lot of racism and Islamophobia, and they say it's already starting to happen again now.
He's like really anti-immigration. He's anti-Arab. He is anti quite literally almost anybody that isn't a white cisgendered higher income man. Not personally, but somebody yesterday had actually shared that they were walking by and a group of people just like shouted a racist slur at them.
Protesters also say they're upset with Trump's push to get rid of the Department of Education. They say education is an important service and should be accessible for everyone. Sherry, back to you.
Unbelievable, John. You know, these people.
I've never seen it. I've never actually heard it with my own ears, but I heard my sister's brother's boyfriend, cousin, transgender surgery technician that somebody said something racist a couple years ago. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. Everybody knows this is BS. Nobody felt. Listen, if people believed that Trump was fascist and he was going to take over our country and become a dictator, or if they thought that he was racist, or if they thought that he was evil in any sense of the word, they wouldn't have voted for him. But the majority of Americans aren't wrong, and the majority of Americans aren't going to sacrifice all those things, not for a price of the carton of eggs or anything like that. In the end, Americans want good leadership. They want to believe in something, and they know that this man loves the country. At this point, the majority of America has come to the realization that this man loves the country. That's the bottom line. We believe that he's going to make our lives better because he cares about us as Americans. That's what's going to happen. That's what happened. That's what's going to happen in 2 years. We're going to revisit that question. Do you think that Trump still cares about you? Do you think that Kamala Harris, number 2, cares more about you than Donald Trump does? No, the answer is always going to be the same because he's an actual patriot. And all of these just silly. She wants to be the next Jesse Smollett. Fine, but that's just laughing. You know, I mean, it just causes laughs. That's all. They're jokes. We don't, you know, there's a reason that we don't trust a lot of college students with high-powered responsibilities.
Yeah. And this is the thing, you know, this is why we need the American Academy. This is why we need
absolutely.
the American Academy, because these kids go to these college campuses, they get brainwashed by their liberal professors, and they come out like that woman we saw. If that was a woman, I don't even know if that was a woman, but that person that was in that video, John, we see that person, and that's what they become. They become like that, you know, and hold signs to say the DNC failed young people. No, the DNC failed America. They failed America.
They failed it. That's absolutely right.
And the Biden administration failed America, but you'll get over it, and you'll be better off for it. Just check
And
back
you
in
know,
4 years.
to add to your point, you know, you see all these stories about what professors and teachers are doing. They're losing their rockers. There are some, I think, a Hispanic teacher in Chicago that had to be suspended or put on administrative leave because they were like, you know, you threw your rights away. You don't do this. You did this. You did this. You did this. I mean, and just like you know, attacking these kids and attacking the idea that somebody would think differently than he does. And then you have a crazy professor she did the same thing. You know, she's telling them, she's threatening students who may have voted for Trump. I mean, these people are out of their minds.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones that are consumed by evil and bad. And at the end of the day, we just want we want our families to be good. You know, in more than just way. I mean that figuratively. I mean it literally. We want our families to be good, right? We want good jobs. We want to be able to provide. We want to be able to take care. We want them to be safe. And I mean, the Democrats have abandoned that. Now they're attacking the family. And Americans aren't going to go for that.
No, I'm hoping that the next announcement that President Trump makes is that he's going to reopen American institutions. Because like I've said on many shows, John, we have a mental health crisis in the United States of America. You were talking about those teachers. I just saw a story about a teacher that was in class singing the national anthem and cutting students' hair over President Trump's win, and then was chasing around other students with scissors to cut their hair too over the President Trump's win. I mean, that
Crazy.
That doesn't illustrate a mental health problem. I don't know what does. So
I mean, that's clearly what it is. And, you know, there's
mental
two institutions.
Let's open them up.
Yeah, yeah. There's two institutions that need to be restarted. One is the mental institutions, like you say, right? We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
We're both big believers in mental institutions need to be brought back, right? Some places, there's no place else, right? There's just, you know, I mean, that's it. That's the only place where you can handle life is in a mental institution, right? Either that or we send all of the crazies to Venezuela, like they did to us, right? So, let's send them all to Venezuela and then see how they deal with it.
I'm sure they have mental institutions there. So.
Yeah, right. And they're called jails. And the other institution that we want to focus on, and I think it's worthy of a department, is a Department of Family. And I don't mean like family and family services. I don't mean none of that crap. What I mean is Department of the Family. How do we promote the health of the American family? Health and well-being of the American family. That's the one thing. We should, if you want a Department of Education that keeps statistics, we should keep a statistics house on the Department of Families that just does nothing but checks the This is where the family welfare is right now. This is how happy people are. This is how safe kids are. This is how healthy they are. This is, these metrics are important to measure. And in 4 years, revisit that. Are you 9 out of 10? Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Under Biden, that number would have been like 3. The tops would have been 4, right? It would, we're not at wartime, but crap, everything sucks. So we're maybe 3 or 4, right? Yeah. And under Trump, everybody was like 7 or 8, right? So, hey, man, I think over the next 2 years, you ask that question, we might be at 7, 8 again. That's a miracle to move that many spots over. Absolutely. And so we need to keeping track of that for the American people. I think we deserve to know what else. That way, the media, the Democrats, no organization will ever be able to tell us again, oh, everything's great. The economy is great, right? Like we don't know, right? Like what inflation is at.
Well, I think that's another reason why they lost, John. They lost because they were telling you that everything was great, and we knew it was.
They were gaslighting.
They were gaslighting us. And another reason why is because nobody believes the mainstream media anymore. Nobody believes them.
Do you know what magazine is for sale? Effective yesterday? Time Magazine. Do you know who owns Time Magazine? Mark Benioff. Do you know?
Play this because it's very interesting, some of the things he says, and he illustrates why they lost, and what's happening with the media right now. Here it is.
Do you know what magazine is for sale? Effective yesterday? Time Magazine. Do you know who owns Time Magazine?
We're going to start it from the top.
Do you know what magazine is for sale? Effective yesterday? Time Magazine. Do you know who owns Time Magazine? Mark Benioff. Do you know who Mark Benioff is? He owns what company? Salesforce. Do you know what his net worth is? $10.7 billion. You know who turned down an interview to Time Magazine just a month ago? Commie la Harris. You know what he bought Time Magazine for? $190 million. Do you know how many subscribers Time Magazine had when he bought them? 4 million. Do you know how many subscribers Time Magazine has today? 1.6 million. Wow. Do you know WAPO? When Bezos came out and says, I don't give a shit if I lose subscribers, 2.5 million subscribers, he says, I'm not endorsing Kamala. Overnight loses 200,000 subscribers, bunch of employees. LA Times loses employees. 200 papers, including USA Today, who typically would have endorsed the left, said we're not doing it. Comcast came out, they're like, look, all these other businesses we own, they're performing. Roku, performing. All these other guys are performing. Does anybody want to buy MSNBC? And I was like, no. Does anybody want to buy CNN? No, we don't want to buy them. By the way, CNN and MSNBC, celebrity people that get up there thinking you're very important, your salary's been declining because they're no longer making money. And the reason why you're seeing these CNN people bashing Kamala, showing a clip that one page is her doing what John Kerry did in 2004, I believe, the flip-flop and stuff. Why are they doing it? If you don't, you're out of business. If you're out of business, no one's paying you. These people that are watching, they're just saying, who can I trust? No wonder Rogan is the #1 podcast in the world in 94 countries. Because people trust the guy. Tucker is 2-3. Theo Vaughn, maybe one of the best podcasters out there. Funny as hell. Top 5. This guy Sean Ryan coming out there doing interviews, blowing up all over the place. Yourself. All these guys, why are people going to them? The market is shifting, disruption at the highest level. And a lot of these guys are used to doing this. We just got a report right now. They don't know how to do this. And American people just want to do this because you know what this is? By the way, if we right now were having dinner, our dinner sounds like a podcast. people would sit there and say, wow, what was that all about? It's a great conversation. This is what America and the world is begging for.
Yo!
Mainstream, they're done with you. You are manipulating and they're done. The market is no longer working and they're walking away. Not because we have some fancy degrees, because people trust being real and sincere. Very simple, and the market's always right.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great statement. The market is always right. I love that video. It really explains why you and I do this, right? Because look at Osceola. We started doing a local show, right? We started doing just local. We're going to do Osceola. We're going to talk Osceola. We had thousands of people watching in Osceola County, just Osceola County, before we got throttled, right? I mean, this is an absolute movement. It's a takeover of the media. It's a takeover of the news cycle. It's all about citizen journalism now. We trust each other. You know, I mean, people watch the show. They know that you and I aren't going to lie. We're just going to tell our opinions. We're telling our opinions.
Yep.
You know? So, I mean, I love it because he's telling you the future of mainstream media is very dark. It's very dark. You know, 1 million subscribers for Time Magazine. I remember when I was a kid, Time Magazine was pretty big, right? I mean, that was really big. It was a really big organization. And it's not that it couldn't be. And I don't think that it's the media itself. The medium, I don't think is dead, right? I think that it's a niche, right? Like a magazine would be a niche. But you can also have a website. You also have streaming. You can everything that you do in a magazine, you can do electronically. The issue is that people just don't trust them. They don't want to hear your BS. You can't trust journalists anymore. Journalists, you know, the approval ratings for journalists are so low. They may even be lower than politicians now. And why is that? I mean, why do lawyers have the reputation of being such slimy people, right? Used car salesmen, they have a reputation of being slimy people. But nobody's as slimy as politicians and journalists now. And that's a real shame because, you know, nobody cares about a used car salesman after you buy the car or, you know, in your daily life. But you do care what the media is telling people. And so the fact that we can't trust our politicians and our journalists tells us that we need to be doing this movement right now. And I wish that everybody would go. You know, I'll support anybody's channel. I'll support anybody's thing because, you know, this is how we need to be doing it. Americans need to be talking to each other now.
Yeah.
You can't trust the media. We need to be speaking to each other.
And that's the show, John.
Man, okay, so we're at an hour and 43 minutes. We're going to be done here by an hour and 45 minutes. Thank you. God bless you. We really appreciate you watching. Please like and share the show. Make sure you DM me so I can get you these cards. If you like and share the show, I'll get you one of these gold playing cards. I'll also get you some unsanctioned swag that we're making right now. Unapologetic Patriot swag also. So please, please, please like and share the show. It would really help us. We appreciate you. We love you. God bless you. Stay tuned. We'll see you very soon for Unsanctioned Florida. Yep. So on behalf of me, former school board member John Arguello, my great friend, citizen Tom Lord over here, thanks, and we'll see you soon.
Well, I mean, I was entertained, to be honest.
I think it is rich beyond measure. The fact that a school board member that has tens of millions of dollars of conflict of interest before this board has the courage to come up here and talk about anyone's behavior. If anyone should be ashamed of themselves, sir, it should be you. And I'm in favor of you being able to speak your mind no matter what. That's how we get, remember when we were kids, right? And you had a problem with somebody, and then your dad would kick you out to go fight with that kid, and then you shake hands, then you go home, and then you become friends. Disgust when they're trying to, take this word and give it meaning that it doesn't have. Like our entire country needs to go through a fasting. You see all of these new age hippies, right? They're constantly fasting. They're doing starvation diets, or they won't eat for this, or what is it called? Like some kind of
intermittent fasting. It's not just us, and not just fans of President Trump, MAGA Republicans. We're not the only ones